Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today is April the 21st, 2022. We're going to talk about Netflix, and I'm going to show you all from the chart that it may not be over for this stock, right? We anticipated in Netflix in the beginning of the year that price was weak, and you guys can see it right now. It's in front of you, and the market has completely fell off. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of things that's been on my mind that a lot of these YouTubers are not going to tell you about long-term investing. And not only that, I'm going to show you something else on the price chart that could kind of tell us that Netflix may not be done with its movement to the downside. Welcome to my channel. This is HueFin, also known as HueFin News. I do price predictions, nothing more, nothing less. I don't come in and speak to you about some fundamentals. I don't talk about no EBITDA, no discount cash flow models, none of that, because price is not dictated from those things. It's not. Price is simply controlled by who is buying and who is doing the selling. It's the trades that move price. Trading is what moves price. Don't ever forget that. All right. So if you guys want to join the team, hit me up, keep it locked in here, hit the like button, share the video, also subscribe here to my channel, tap that bell notification as well, because one thing I will show you is that you can actually predict prices without the confusion. It doesn't have to be complex. You got so many people out here trying to make these things complex, trying to make you think that you got to have some type of degree, be some type of professional to figure out where price is going to go. It is, I couldn't tell you, it's further from the truth. Just take a look. I did a video in Netflix right here, and it is still here on my chart, right? January the 2nd. I was telling you all then to be prepared for Netflix to go down. Now, at that particular moment, I wasn't looking at a monumental collapse in Netflix stock price. Like, I wasn't looking for that, but I knew price was weak, and it came down to $545, a couple of days after, and we still saw weakness then. So you could have continued to play into the market with the weakness. Look at that. 15, almost 16%. Price in Netflix continued to fall, continue to fall, continue to fall, continue to fall. 62.5%. So from my video that I did in the beginning of this year, here it is, April the 21st, 2022. Netflix stock value has lost 62%. 62%. This is what I wanted to show you in terms of long-term investing, right? So let me get rid of that. Congratulations to you if you saw the same thing. If you felt that the price in Netflix was weak and you were already in position, you did a fantastic job. Like, I want to give you the kudos, because I know a lot of people don't give people kudos, but if you saw that happening, then congratulations. You did an excellent job, because this is what this game is meant to do, is to make money. That's it. So let's get rid of that though. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about is that a lot of these people on YouTube be really pushing, buy the dips. They be telling you to come in and hold for the long term. But for some reason, long term is left open to interpretation. You get to define what long term means. There's no strict language on what long term is supposed to mean. Some people say 5 years. Some people say 10 years. Some people say 20 years. Some people say 30 years. Yes, for real. Now, I'm zooming out of this price chart in Netflix, and I want you all to notice something. Your timing in the market plays a big role as to whether or not long-term investing will work out for you. Now, let me give you an example. This trend in Netflix, right, started in 2016. So if you were a long-term holder for 5 years, I don't know, for some reason people throw out 5 years like it's some magical number. If you bought Netflix in 2016 and you roll the market 5 years, you actually won out in the market, right? Yes, you did. It worked out in your favor for you to hold the stock in the long term. If you bought here, July 21st, 2016, and let's take it to July 21st, 2021, right? Let's see. So the price of Netflix was around here. That is 498%. Congratulations. This is what long-term investing is supposed to look like. Supposed to, right? It's supposed to see a steady increase. You want to see your equity curve, your profitability curve go up in the long term. This is what long-term investing is supposed to look like. Now, that is because you invested in the stock in 2016. What about the people in Netflix who felt because of they was watching somebody on YouTube or they was paying attention to this mantra, they're following the bandwagon. They're joining into the bandwagon of holding Netflix for the long term. So what about the people who bought Netflix here following that same premise to hold for the long term, right? All of these people who bought Netflix with the expectation of holding for the long term are now losing. Yeah, they're losing now. Everybody who bought from 2018, even 2017, is now in a losing position for the long term. People don't realize that Netflix is broken now. This stock is now massively broken. Will be better if we were to see the market just trade sideways. This trend was intact for 5 years. When a massive trend this strong breaks, it's going to be hard for you to create another trend for the long term. These people who are holding Netflix around $480, $560 to those who are around $240 to $400, they might be holding longer than 5 years just to break even, not to see profitability. And every stock that is in this long-term trend will eventually go through the same fate as Netflix. Every stock is not going to go up into perpetuity. Every trend eventually breaks. Yes. That's why timing is very important. Okay. Now, that trend is broken. And it broke back here in February, January, this time frame. So like if anybody did a video in Netflix following the breakage of this price trend, should have been paying attention a little bit closer. This chart was a massive scream or a massive sell once we broke this trend. The answer was already there. The market has spoken. Don't forget, what we look at on price charts is just simply the behavior of what people are doing. It tells us that what people were thinking in Netflix has drastically changed to where nobody was willing to buy anymore. Right when price broke this ascending line. Exactly. Right when it broke that trend, you said, all right, cool. Market is not a buy anymore. It's a sell. And you could have garnered a whole lot of profitability thinking that way. That is why you need to know when to switch on and switch off your buy and sell indicators into your mentality. You do not be swayed by nothing else but price. Now, let me show you why it may not be over for Netflix. Now, check this out. A lot of times, the whole function of a market is to create efficiency, right? Is to create a pattern, a way that we as traders and investors and the market as a whole can figure out what could be the value of a trade of these stocks, right? And the great disparity comes in when, you got people who wants to buy a stock on the low, but you got people who wants to sell a stock on the high. That is where the gap occurs. So the market is created to fill that. Okay. And when you see gaps on a price chart, price usually comes in and try to fill it because gaps creates inefficiency. There wasn't no trades there. And most of the times, the market specialist tries to come in and bring price back down to those gaps. That is why, if you guys were to look, there was a gap right here in Netflix. See, nobody's going to show you this. They want to show you EBITDA. They want to show you fundamentals. They want to show you revenue. They want to show you subscribers that Netflix has gained. But look at this. A gap occurred into the market in Netflix right here. there was a gap here created in 2018. Look at that. Look at that gap. Market almost came down and filled that gap towards the ending of 2018, but it didn't completely fill it. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show it to you. So let me bring this line up here to the low that occurred in Netflix. And you guys can see the high right here. So there's a small void, a small gap that occurred into the market in Netflix that wasn't filled, right? So let me show it to you. Let me zoom in. I want to show you all this. This gap wasn't filled from the high that occurred on January 22nd, 2018 to the low that came in on December 26, 2018. The low was $231.23. The high on January 22nd, 2018 was $227.79. It didn't fill it. 232 was the low. 231 was the low. 227, almost 228 was the high. So between that difference is where the gap was. Well, guess what? Guess what just happened? Guess what just happened? Netflix came and created and filled that gap. It took a long time, but the market came and filled it. Now, this is the reason why I'm trying to tell you that it may not be over for Netflix, because there's another gap. Oh yeah, there is another gap in the market for Netflix. Now, it seems improbable, but there's a gap. Do you see it? Do you see the gap that has occurred in Netflix? Do you see it? If you don't, I got you. I'm gonna show it to you. I think you see it now. It's right here. Now that would take the price in Netflix, what, around $70 or so? The market has never filled this gap right here. So from the high, let me see. So from the high of April 14, 2015, it was $69.14. And then on April the 16th, 2015, the market opened at 76. And since that time, Netflix has never came back down and filled this void. Not one time. See, now I'm zooming out and I want to show you that price continue to go up in Netflix. Now, am I saying that price is going to go back down to $69, $70? Just like it took forever for Netflix to come and fill this void that was started in 2018. But what was that, 3 years, 4 years? It might even take long for it to hit $70. I'm just saying, this could be a massive clue to where Netflix is trying to go. That's like another 68% fall. 68%. So obviously, I don't think it's over yet. I don't think the market has anticipated like what's really about to happen in Netflix. And if this is just a indication as to what the overall market is about to go through, many people aren't thinking about what's really on the horizon in the stock market. They continue to try to lead on with this narrative that are we about to hit a recession? A lot of these stocks are already down 50-60%. Why are they trying to push us with this narrative that we may hit a recession? Many of these stocks are already in bear market territory, if you follow their definition of what bear market means. So why are they really trying to fool us with? There's only a select few stocks out here that is breaking the trend. Many of them are going down though. Many of them. So I want you all to be paying attention, especially in Netflix. This might be a clue as to what's to come. You know, a lot of people try to tell you to come in and buy these dips, not knowing that the market structure in Netflix is now broken. Don't expect in the next 5 years for this market to go back up to $700, right? If anything, we'll be lucky just to see Netflix trade sideways for a little bit. That's what we probably will get in the next 5 years. It's just a market that's going to trade and not necessarily be in a definitive bull market uprun. So now, I'm just saying, this is not a buy market right now. So if anyone's out there telling me about the dip in Netflix, it doesn't look like the pain is over. And I'm probably the only one that's showing you that gap in the market in Netflix around 68, 70 some dollars. Don't be surprised if the market comes down to that price. Now, it's only 2022, and it might be 2-3 years down the road. But listen, the market has to be efficient. And that's inefficiency when you see gaps. All right. So I'm done. I'm not going to put on price prediction yet. Overall, Netflix is not a buy. It's just plain and simple. It is not a buy. The market is going to have to work the kinks out before the market will even begin some type of elevation. Like, the market is completely broken in Netflix. If anyone's out there telling you that to come in and buy Netflix, I think Jim Cramer sent out a tweet, and everybody else continues to run with it, where he told people to buy Netflix, and the market can completely crash. So everybody got an agenda. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. Everybody has an agenda. If he sent out that tweet, possibly he had a whole bag of Netflix to sell. Because don't forget, for every trade, there has to be a buyer and a seller. All right. So now, let me know what you think. I'm done. No price prediction on Netflix. I'm just simply telling you that this is not a buy yet. It's just that simple. That's the prediction. Netflix is broken. All right. Make sure you maintain the profitability. And as always, trade different.